Hey guys, how's it going? It's Dom here from Contextual. Just wanted to go ahead and walk through a solution that I put together really quickly in Contextual using Solution AI. This is called Invoice AI. Basically, all it is it's taking images of invoices. We're sending it to Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet for analysis, OCR analysis, and what that's doing is extracting the text out of those images and we're storing them for later while furnishing them here for visual, but then storing them as a record. That way you can use that for further processing or analysis or automation, such as sending an email, etc. So what we'll go ahead and do is take a look at this on the front end to see how it works, and then I could show you the back end to see like all the plumbing, what's under the hood, right? So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to take an image just like this. It's an image that's handwritten, and we're going to go ahead and click choose file. And then after we do that, we're going to see that we have that loaded. And then the next step is going to be process invoice. And all this is doing is it's taking that image on the back end, converting it to base 64, because that's what Claude expects on the content side for an image. And then after that, it's basically saying, here's a prompt, right? Spit this back out into structured data. And as you can see here, we got it back. This is for unified plumbing, service description, snake the drain, which is pretty good, right? So I was able to store all that and do that. So if we go and take a look here at what's under the hood, we'll see that this is the flow. Two groups here that are extremely important. The first one is our initial endpoint. This is basically that front end that we were looking at here. And all that does is has basic HTML and CSS that's furnishing that front end display, of course, with some script at the bottom and stuff like that to display that response once we get it back. Um, and then what happens next here in the second group is after we had loaded that image and hit process, it's hitting this endpoint with the post. And it's converting that to base 64 because, like I said, that's what Anthropic Claude expects. And then we have a function node here that's basically saying, let's prepare that in structure that Claude expects, the Anthropic Claude API. And then we have our prompt here loaded with some of the data that we want to extract. Um, and then, of course, sending it to Claude, getting our output, which is going to be Claude response, parsing it. This is the parse that we're going to basically spit out into our message.payload. And that's what we're going to see from that HTML and that initial script where it's capturing that response and storing it here for you to visualize. So after that happens, we then create a record. So when that record's created, you'll see it in here. We have a object called Invoice AI data. And you're going to see we have this record that's going to have, the ID that was generated from when it was created, the vendor name, address, etc. Everything that we're basically seeing on here. After the completion of that record create, the output again is message.payload, and that's what we're furnishing here in that HTML template. So really cool stuff. This took very little time to put together using Solution AI. Solution AI can build out HTML templates. It can walk you through the process of configuring your function nodes and help you assist you in setting up API calls to something like Claude, and then how to parse those and store them and then use that for further analysis. So all this is doing is using one of our HTTP agents, which is giving us this URL here that we're using to display this front end, which is then communicating to do all this back end work so we can get the response that we want from Claude after sending in that image. And what's also cool about this is if you saw something and you're like, well, how does this work? You can just ask Solution AI, how does this flow work? And Solution AI has context of this entire setup here. And what it's going to do is just break it down step by step so you can have a TL, well, I wouldn't call this a TLDR, but you can have an entire summary exactly how this flow is working with some of the basics, the node, the function, etc., for setting this up. And then you can use Solution AI if you wanted to modify this further, change some of the output, maybe even change something like the color. So that is pretty much it. This is Invoice AI built with Solution AI as a proof of concept, literally within an hour or less. And that just goes to show you how powerful it is to have AI orchestration tools to build AI solutions for everyday tasks.